Okay, in this video what we're going to do is start adding a bit more functionality to what we're doing. So the idea of this game obviously is to collect items in order to get yourself off the island. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to start putting the scripts in so that we can collect things. So there's a couple of things we need to do to make sure everything's set up properly before we do the script. So first of all, what I'd like you to do is to click on your character. And in this case, in this video I'm only dealing with the first person character. So for the car video, there's another video for that. You can watch that one. So for the first person character, I'm just going to rename that. So just right click on it and select rename. And we're going to call it player with a capital P. And this is important because our scripts are going to refer to this later on. So now our player, which is our character, is called player. Now the other thing, I just want you to double check, it should already be set, but we want to make sure that our player is tagged as a player, so it should say player here. Then what we need to do is make our collectible ready to be collected. So if we click on the collectible and come over to the inspector and scroll down to where we've got our sphere collider, we need to make sure that it's a trigger, because our script is going to look, or is actually going to call that and say, well, if it hits the trigger, then do something. So we need to make our collectible in the sphere collider or whatever collider you have on yours. So if you had say the cheese here, for example, I've got a box collider, so I would make that a trigger. Okay, now you should only have one collectible on your world at this point, and the reason for that is that we've got to add a lot of stuff to it. So we don't want heaps of them, because then we've got to add all the bits and pieces to each one individually, and we don't want to do that. So once we've done that, then we can start creating our scripts. So if we go into the project window and we go down to our scripts folder again, just make sure the assets window is open, click on scripts, and whoops, before I do that, I'm going to come back into here and I'm going to find the script name. So in this case it's called collect object. Now here's a little trick for you. If you select that and copy it, then come back in here, when I create the script, so right click in the box, go create, C# script, and instead of having to type anything, all I have to do is just press Command or Control V. And there it is there. And now I know that I have the exact thing that I need. So we click on that there. If we go back and have a look at our script here, basically what we're saying that is if a game object is tagged as player, then collect player sound, wait a few seconds, and then destroy the game object. So this has to go onto your actual coin. So this goes onto this object here, so onto your collectible. Now remember, back here we made sure that our player was tagged as a player. So basically what it's saying is that in our collectible item, if something runs into the collider, then and that object is called player, then make the object disappear. So now I'm going to drag my collect object script up onto my collectible. And if I click on the collectible and come down here, you can see I've got a collect object script. Obviously it doesn't have anything there yet. So let's go back in here, double click on the object script, open it up in Visual Studio Code, Command A or Control A to select everything, delete it all, go to Google Classroom, Command Control A to select everything, Command Control C to copy, back to Visual Studio Code, and Command or Control V to paste everything in. Now there's a whole bunch of green writing here. These are some lines of code that we're going to activate later on in some other videos. But at the moment, effectively what we've got is we have this little part here which basically says that if something runs into our trigger, which is on our coin, and if that object is tagged as a player, which we have done, then start this little coroutine, which is like a little program within a program, which is down here. Okay, so here it is here, collect coin. So it's going to play a sound first of all, then it's going to wait for 3 seconds, and then the game object's going to disappear. So if we save that, come back into Unity, Unity will update the scripts. And the last thing we have to do is on our collectible, now that we have the script in there, we have to add a sound. If we don't add a sound, what happens is the computer will get to this line here and it will stop. It won't go any further than that because it sits there trying to find a sound, and if we haven't given it a sound, then it won't go past that line. So it's important that we do that. So click on your collectible, and then back in our Google Classroom page, under the Unity Game Asset Packages, there's one called Game Sounds. So I'm just going to right click on that, open it in a new tab, click on the download button. Once that's downloaded, I'm going to double click on it, just like we've done for all the other ones, and I've already got mine in here, and you can see it opens up a little folder called various sounds, and in there I've got some coin sounds. So to listen to your coin sounds, all you have to do is click on it, and if you come over to the inspector, it will let you play it. So you can have a listen and see what you think. I'm going to go with number 4. So for that one, what I need to do is I need to get that sound into our world somehow, because at the moment it's just sitting in our project folder. So to do that, in our hierarchy window, I'm going to go Game Object, and I'm going to create an empty. I'm going to call that coin sound, and hit return. And then I'm going to drag and drop my sound onto that empty, like that. And what that does is it adds all the bits and pieces that we need for our sound. I'm then going to parent that sound to the collectible so that it moves whenever the collectible moves. Actually, just before I do that, I'm going to make sure it's right on the top of my coin, like that. Then I'm going to drag and drop that up on top of the collectible so that they're all together like that. So now if I click on the collectible and move something, the sound and the light all move with it directly, so I don't have to worry about moving individual objects. So make sure you do that before you do anything else. Now that I've done that, what I can do in this little part down the bottom here is I can tell the script what sound I want to play. And it's really easy to do that. Now that I've created this empty, all I have to do is click on it and drag it down and put it inside that collect sound variable. So that variable is sitting here. Where is it? Here. That one there. So I've just put it inside that container. I've told it what I want to actually play by dragging that across. So now I've got a sound, I've got my trigger, I've named my player, so I should be ready to go. So I'm going to save it with Command or Control S, and then I'm going to click play, and I heard a little ding, which tells me that the sound is actually playing, which is great. I'll just fix my mouse up here. And now when I run over my coin, you can see it plays a ding and it disappears. And that's all you have to do to collect things. From here we're going to add some counters and some scores and all sorts of whiz-bang things. So hopefully by now you can start to see how the game is going to start to come together. So have a go at that and see how you go.